Hello everybody. So welcome to All My Dolls video. So for this video I do plan to only discuss my first 10 dolls that I got within my childhood years, maybe within like also high school and a bit of college. But yeah, so here it goes. So a quick disclaimer is that I wanted to let everybody know that I plan to do this All My Dolls in different parts, or at least this video series in different parts. I plan maybe to go up to 1 to 2 to 3 parts because I do have a pretty good large collection, and I like to share kind of not only my memories I have associated with these dolls but also the experiences attached to these dolls. So please like, subscribe, and welcome again to my doll collection. So this is my first and most favorite doll, Josefina Montoya. So I got her for Christmas in 2003. I was around 10 years old, and I was so enamored with her. I absolutely love her Hispanic culture and heritage because I myself am Latina. So I identified a lot with her upbringing, her character, and things like that. So like my family, for example, also lives on a ranch, so I really understood a lot of the stuff that they talk about like in her books and things like that. I just absolutely love her. I've had her for, let's see, almost 20 years, I'd say, when I'm looking at the calendar and seeing how long she has been with me. She just has such a memorable part of my childhood, my life, and so I am just so honored to have her as my first doll. The outfit currently she's wearing is a retired weaving outfit. I did get that for her for a few months ago, and I do plan one day to be able to say I own everything in her entire historical collection. And I might also do a separate video on that just to show you kind of what I've gathered in the last, I'd say, 19-20 years since I've had her. So this doll here is my second doll, who is a Just Like You number 23. I got her in, I believe, 2006 during summertime. I remember picking her out in the Chicago American Girl store. I believe I was with my family members to visit one of my cousins that lived near that area. So I remember, the memories associated with this doll very much because it was the first time I ever went to American Girl store. And I remember this store so vividly, even now. Like, I thought it was heaven when I first walked in and looked at all the displays and things like that at the American Girl store. Every once in a while I still have dreams about that place, which is kind of strange, and I believe that actual store moved and it went to another location, so I kind of do want to go back there one day. But I do have to say though that my doll Abby, which I named her, in the last years, I'd say like I had a issue kind of bonding with her, not because I didn't care about her. It was just because I was used to, when I was younger, reading like the books and kind of getting to know the character before like purchasing the doll. And with her I kind of felt like I didn't know how to create like her little personality, like what she was really into and things like that. So I feel like because I didn't build that up very well, I had a hard time connecting with her, mostly through childhood. But I've noticed that I really do value her so much because, there were some items that my family members bought for actually Josefina, like modern clothing. And I've never wanted to put modern clothing on Josefina. She just looks so good in her historical clothing. So there was a lot of those stuff that I kind of gave to Abby, and she looks great with them. And she's just a great doll to have in my collection because I do have younger cousins and family members that do like to come and see my dolls, and she's always the one that a lot of them want to play with, and because she has really easy hair to take care of, she's really easy to pose and do things with, and she really has grown on me, and I'm so glad that I kept her, and she's just a very valuable part of my collection also. Alrighty, so my third doll was Kirsten Larson. So I believe I got her around July in 2007, And I believe I also picked her up at the American Girl store in Los Angeles. What I remember at the time was my parents were vacationing with me in Las Vegas, and for some reason my dad talked about going to LA for just like a day. And I remember it was kind of a little challenging because the car that we took with us, because we drove all the way from Vegas to where I live now, and it was kind of just having some issues, so it was kind of not an easy journey, but we did make it. We made it from, it was just like a 3-hour trip, I believe, from Vegas to Los Angeles. And yeah, so I've only went to Los Angeles just to go to the American Girl store there and to pick up Kirsten. I try to remember exactly why I chose Kirsten as my third doll. I think a lot of it was because in the catalogs, Josefina used to be next to Kirsten all the time when you used to open up the catalogs and see all the historical characters and things like that. So I gotta say, I did not read all her books when I first got her, but her stories were very interesting. I think I read her first book when I first bought Kirsten, and I liked her well enough to purchase her. So I've had her for a while. I gotta say that I was very lucky to get her around this time frame, just because not too long afterwards she was retired in 2009. And I'm really lucky and fortunate to say that I have some of her clothing items, just because they are very hard to find on secondary markets. But the unfortunate thing about that is I haven't been able to purchase other items that I've wanted to get for her collection or from her collection in, like, I'd say over 10 years, just because they've been so not only hard to find but really pricey. So some items I might want to get from her collection would possibly be her sari doll, her friendship quilt birthday blanket quilt, things like that. I've considered getting some of her furniture pieces, but I might not, just because I really value some other pieces a little more, and also I realize my doll room's just like not that large. So I don't know, maybe in the future I might get her bed. I've always liked her beautiful bed and her friendship quilt and her sari doll, so I really hope maybe one day I might get them, but it's not something I am rushing to get just yet. I feel like if when I find the right deal, I find the right deal. That's just kind of my motto there when getting older retired historical American Girl items. So my fourth doll that I got was Julie Albright. So I believe I got her in 2008, of around maybe summertime. I remember vividly working a very small summer job, and I was like in middle school around this time, so I didn't make too much money and it wasn't too strenuous. I believe I was just babysitting a young little girl because a friend of my mother's was a teacher, and she had summer school classes she was teaching, and she just needed a little bit of help. But I was able to get a few $100, not much, I'm telling you, really not too much, but I used this money to be able to go to the American Girl doll store, and I believe I got her in Dallas, the American Girl doll store. And I remember I really wanted to get, at the time, Felicity and Elizabeth, and for the longest time I really regretted that, because I didn't know that within 2 years, which was in 2010, they were going to retire. I remember I really vividly regretted that, and I wish I got those too, but I gotta say, I had a parent of mine that didn't like them, specifically my dad. He convinced me not to get Felicity and Elizabeth, and so I got Julie instead. And I originally wanted to get Ivy along with her, but my dad insisted that was just too much for me to spend at the store. My relationship with my parents was a little complicated at this time. I believe that what was happening was that my parents were, they believed that as I got older, I would get out of dolls and I'd regret spending the money I was spending on them. So I think that's what was going on at that time period. But obviously that was for naught, because I still collect American Girl dolls, and I've never ever really stopped, even as through childhood, through adulthood, and even now. So that's great, and and I'm glad they understand that, and yeah. So my next doll, which is also one of my top favorite dolls for the longest time, I used to list her as number 2 in my collection, but right now her and another pair of dolls are tied for spot number 2 in my favorite, as my favorites. I got Samantha actually for Christmas in the year of 2008 when she retired. So the reason why she is one of my favorite dolls is because my grandmother, who this is actually my maternal grandmother, so it's my father's mother, she was a big advocate for me and my doll collection, and her favorite doll was always Samantha. I remember going through the catalogs with her all the time, and we would always discuss which dolls were so pretty, what is cute, what outfits, I'd probably want to buy for my dolls, even if I didn't get them or not. And I'll never forget, she just was so in love with Samantha. She thought that she was kind of my mini-me because I have dark hair, have dark brown hair, and brown eyes myself. So she just thought of me every time she saw Samantha. And so she just always was an advocate for me. When are you going to get Samantha? Was always a conversation we had. And when I told her about her being retired, she and my aunt worked really hard to get her. And I am so glad to have her because not too long ago she passed away, and so sometimes when I see Samantha I always think of her, and so she really, I don't mean to get so emotional, but this doll has a lot of sentimental value to me, and some part of me thinks that, I'm so grateful to have her because not only did my grandmother purchase her with love, but she's definitely, I feel like she holds like a piece of her in my heart, So my next doll is 2009 Girl of the Year, Karissa. So leading up to getting her, I always liked a lot of the previous Girl of the Year dolls, but I either was kind of, I didn't think I had a lot in common with some of the dolls that were into like dancing and like things I just wasn't too enthused about at the time. But I thought Karissa had a lot in common with me because I like arts and things like that, though I'm more actually of the reading, writing type person rather than arts and crafts. But I did think she was a really cute doll, and she was a really cute character within her books. I did enjoy her books. I got her in 2009, and I used to kind of regret her purchase at first because, again, I did not realize that Kirsten was going to retire so soon afterwards. But at the same time, I feel like, this was a really tough year for me. My parents were still trying to convince me that, American Girl might be, something I shouldn't be collecting, especially as I got older. But I did get her for my birthday in 2009, and I'm grateful for that because, it is hard to find any Girl of the Year doll, especially when they retire. I do have to say I really regret not getting Sonali or Gwen. I hope in the future I could get her 2 best friends. I know it's going to be really difficult because some Sonalis sell for over $800. I think that's just wow. That's crazy, but I do hope one day I could get her best friends because I feel like she really does need her best friends. They're very important parts and little characters that were very involved in her books, so it'd be really cool one day to be able to get them too. So my next doll is Felicity. So I was very fortunate again to get her in 2010 when she retired on Christmas Day. So I've always wanted Felicity growing up. I really identified with her. I thought she was a really beautiful doll. She also has a very beautiful character within her historical books. Let's see. It was a tough time also in 2010. My grandparents, this was my mom's grandparents, so my paternal grandparents, or my mom's parents, I'm sorry. They offered to help me buy Felicity and Elizabeth, but my parents were still not very enthused about me still collecting dolls at this period. So I will never forget, there was some pretty good argument that my grandparents and my parents had not too long before Christmas about purchasing these two dolls. And they came to a compromise to get just only Felicity, which, I understand, but, at the same time, sorry about that. My camera decided to cut off a little bit. I think it was just getting a little warm, just because it's been on for a while now. But to quickly summarize kind of my experiences associated with Felicity was, I was a little upset that my parents didn't help or didn't allow for me to get the Elizabeth doll that I wanted. But, I'm not so upset now. I understand that, they're just looking out for me, and, two dolls is a lot. I understand they are expensive. But, she was just really, really hard to get afterwards. So, as you can see, I did not obtain my Elizabeth until 10 plus years later. But again, I'm not mad about that anymore. My parents are absolutely open to me collecting dolls, and I'm really grateful that, my parents love me, and they respect that, and they support me. Alrighty, so this is my next doll, which is Cecile. So I was very fortunate to get her the year that she debuted, and so I got her for Christmas in 2011. So she is also one of my favorite dolls. Her and Marie Grace are technically the dolls that are tied with Samantha as my number 2 favorite dolls. I cannot choose between them. They're just so adorable. So Cecile and Marie Grace were released in around August, I think, 2011. And I'll never forget how beautiful I thought they were on the catalog, and so excited for their release. And I also really like New Orleans. I visited there. My family visits there all the time. They have friends that live there. So I had a lot of really cool trinkets in my childhood room of like New Orleans, like Mardi Gras beads, masks, and things like that. And I remember telling my parents, I was just like, these dolls are like perfect for my doll collection, because they are Mardi Gras and they are so like New Orleans. I absolutely love them. And surprisingly, I was greeted with Cecile for Christmas that year. And I was really, really surprised to find out that my dad bought her for me. I know, that's crazy, right? So I feel like there was a lot of like wounds that were healed after this. My dad really does love my dolls. And it's really cool to hear that after all these years. And he personally just likes Cecile, Josefina, and some of my dolls of color. Those are his favorites, and I completely understand, because she is stunning and breathtaking. And I'm really glad to have gotten her when I did, because I had no idea she was going to retire so fast, along with Marie Grace and their entire collection in 2014. Alrighty, so my next doll that I got, my 9th doll, was Marie Grace. I felt like after having Cecile for a few months, I wanted to get her for my birthday in 2012. So here's my beautiful Marie Grace doll. I have never taken her hair out of her factory hairstyle or her little bows. They're just so cute. I totally know I could redo it, but it's just so adorable, and I absolutely love her little beat hairstyle. But yeah, so I have a lot of great moments associated with her too. It's very hard for me to choose which doll I prefer over Cecile and Marie Grace. I think they're both beautiful and perfect. And weirdly enough, her character is supposedly born on March 3rd, and that's my birthday too, so it's hard for me not to say that I don't love her as much as Cecile. I love them both, and they have a shared collection in my opinion, so I really do love her. She is beautiful, and I'm so surprised so many people are so adamant to get a Marie Grace doll. Again, I'm very lucky to get her around the time she debuted, and I was able to get some of her really hard to find outfits and things like that. So for example, my grandmother, who gave me Samantha with my aunt, she got me Marie Grace's summer outfit, and I was very touched that she got me that. And yeah, so it's like a really like rare outfit, and I thought about selling it because some people want that brand new for like $200 to $300, but I just can't do it. It has so many good memories associated with my dolls and my family. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know that she is my 9th doll, and I love her just as much as I love Cecile. It's just very hard for me to choose between the two. But yeah, so her and Cecile are like number 2, and I hope one day to get both Marie Grace and Cecile's entire collection one day. We'll see. I'm pretty close, but it's a lot of big ticket items, which could be hard for me to obtain. But I have, I have faith I can do it. We'll see. I'm pretty excited for the future and what I might be able to get for my doll collection. Alrighty, so my 10th doll is going to be Caroline. So I also was very fortunate to be collecting American Girl around this time period because Caroline is definitely one of those dolls that was available for a very, very short period of time. And I also got her in 2012, so she was a historical character, not EB Forever Caroline. So that's really interesting. She is very beautiful. Her eyes are definitely very stunning in person. And I've heard so many people say that Caroline is some people's dream doll to get. So I did get her the year she debuted. I got her, I believe, for Christmas in 2012. A lot of things are happening this year. This was my last year of high school. And I was very, very surprised to find out my dad also purchased Caroline for me too. It's really great. Again, I was able to collect some of these dolls because, again, I had no idea. For example, Caroline was going to retire less than what I say, like 3 years since her debut. But I am also fortunate to say I have a few of her outfits, which have become very hard to get on secondary markets, and I think I have 3 outfits of hers. I also have her meat accessories and her little cat named Ink Pot, and they're really cute. I've thought about getting more of her things, but we'll see. I change my mind a lot, so sometimes I decide, oh, I only want these items, and then the list just grows longer and longer for all the must-haves for my historical collection. Alrighty, I just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in to my All My Dolls video, part 1. I don't know when I'll be able to do part 2 and part 3, but they are definitely on my list to get done. I also have other dolls to open because in the last few years I weirdly have some dolls I never opened and I collected in the last year or so, at least maybe 2 years or so, just due to me working and also going to school full time. So I do have that to do, so I will also do a few of those videos coming up pretty soon. So thank you again for tuning in. Let me know what else you'd like to see from my doll collecting channel. And please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. And thank you so much again for everything and for wanting to know so much more about my collection and all the likes and comments I've been getting in my last videos. So thank you again, guys. I'll see y'all guys soon.